What exactly is cancer and how exactly does it kill you or cause harm? Most people with cancer just seem to die from the treatments and the fear and stress of it more than the cancer itself. It has at its base a spiritual component. Some say it's an emotional component. That's a huge part of it. But it's something that is very non-physical. It's generally that somebody is repeating an old pattern. So physically what's happening is that the cells that are supposed to go through a life cycle, somewhat decay, renew, whatever. That's all a bit of a fallacy anyway. But if you just take that model of cancer being the body's inability to turn itself over, so that in order to protect itself, like from the rest of the body, it'll form things like tumors, growths that surround a dead cell, if you want to call it that, because the body doesn't want anything non-living inside of it. It's why you generally don't want things like implants and whatever in the body. It's the etheric bodies, as in plural, inability to turn themselves over. And what that means is they're stuck on loops. The body, a lot of people are aware, is an electrical unit. And if you have an electrical system, like if you have a motherboard with various different transformers and chips and transistors and whatever all over it, and they're all supposed to work in harmony, if any of them end up on a loop that's not discharging properly, that'll fry out that part of the circuit and or short circuit the entire thing. So what I mean by that is if we're stuck on loops, which are generally an emotional reaction to a stimulus that we haven't grown past. So for example, somebody yelled at you when you were a kid, and now you form a belief that you're unworthy, unvaluable, everyone's out to get you or whatever. That's constantly running as a loop within an electrical field in those etheric bodies, and you're not turning that over. What will happen is that'll represent itself physically, which will be in the physical body. There's no physical cause of cancer that I'm aware of. Does smoking cause cancer? No. How do you know that? Because of the amount of people out there that smoke relentlessly and have no sign of cancer whatsoever. Do certain types of foods cause cancer? No. Why? Because there's so many people out there that eat all kinds of turds and do not express as cancer. And then you have people that eat like all organic and I do this and I'm a vegan this and I'm a that. And it's like, okay, well, you have cancer. So what's the story there? Do physical attributes have anything to do with cancer? In my opinion, yes, they do. But they're like the parts of like a lightning strike. So you have the impetus, which actually comes from the ground, not the sky. Then you have the receiving element, and then you have them connect in the middle. So in my opinion, what happens is you have something that is in the etheric bodies that's not turning over, and that sends a stimulus into the physical reality or the physical body. Now, depending on what that is related to in our choices and our beliefs that lead to a certain lifestyle, such as foods, such as smoking, such as drinking, such as anything, those can form essentially the equivalent of a lightning strike, present or express itself physically in the body, such as a quote unquote cancer. But all of it has an emotional / spiritual underpinning. There's none that don't, that I've ever seen. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah, but I mean, I've studied this for a long time, and it's also not new because people were saying that in the 1800s and whatever as well. Most people with cancer just seem to die from the treatments. Yeah, exactly. And the fear and stress of it, absolutely. All that's happening is you're being shown that you are way, way, way out of balance, usually with something to do with your belief systems and your ability to regulate yourself emotionally. So a lot of people will overwork or too many things to list, but there's so many things that are going to be caught in these etheric, quote unquote, unseen bodies, and they're just showing up physically. That's all it is. It's also hilarious in modern day culture where you have people throwing around slogans like "F cancer," and I think that was put in by the regime. And the reason I think that is because if you look at what cancer is and what's really happening and how we express these things, what you're really saying is "F you." Like that's what it actually means. If you say cancer, well, what's the cause of cancer? The cause of cancer in any individual is themselves. So when you say cancer as if that's dealing with it somehow, you're actually saying it's a really gross, sick joke, I believe, from the people out there that know how this shit works, but then they invert it and turn it into like a disease and then treat it with like chemicals and stuff. I really think that they're laughing at people. I think that like BLM, like stay home, stay safe, I really think cancer was put in by the cancer industry. Hearing and reading cancer is a parasite. No, you will have parasites, you will have fungus. Everybody who's got cancer is going to have fungal infections. But fungus isn't bad. An infection simply means a dysbiosis, and a dysbiosis simply means you have way too much of it. You need some of it, otherwise you don't function and you're not alive. So there are parasitic elements to it as well. But parasites and fungus are janitors. They're only there to clean up a mess. If you go specifically looking for parasites in a cancer patient, will you find them? Absolutely. And 100% you'll find dysbiosis of fungus. So the mistake then is to believe that the fungus causes the cancer or is the cancer or has anything to do with it. other than trying to clean up what the individual is not cleaning up on their own, which usually is their thoughts and their emotional and spiritual processes. A lot of the people that I've seen in the cancer industry are perpetuating all the lies, much like a lot of the people in the quote unquote health industry are perpetuating germ theory lies and et cetera, et cetera.